You know that person who barely says anything in group settings? The one who's always listening, always watching, never jumping into the conversation? Most people assume they're shy, boring, nothing special. They're wrong. Quiet people have a set of traits that most people never notice, traits that make them more observant, more strategic, and, honestly, more dangerous than the loudest person in the room. Today, I'm breaking down 10 secret traits of quiet people, and if you're one of them, this is going to feel like I'm reading your mind. If you're not, this is going to change how you see the quiet people in your life. Let's get into it. First trait. Quiet people remember everything you say. And I mean everything. You mentioned your dog's name 3 months ago in a casual conversation? They remember. That story you told about your embarrassing college moment, filed away. The thing you said you'd do but never did? Yeah, they noticed. Because here's what happens when you're not the one talking. You're listening, actually listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Most people are so busy thinking about what they're going to say next that they don't absorb half of what's being said to them. Quiet people, they're taking mental notes, building a database, learning who you really are through the details you think nobody catches. And the crazy part? They don't bring it up. They just know. So when you contradict yourself 6 months later, don't be surprised when they give you that look. They remember what you said the first time. Second trait. They notice what you're not saying. You show up to a gathering and you're fine. Everyone believes you, except the quiet person. They saw the micro-expression before you put on the smile. They noticed you're standing slightly apart from everyone. They caught the hesitation before you laughed at that joke. Quiet people are expert observers of body language because they're not distracted by their own performance. They're watching. They see the tension in your shoulders, the way you check your phone when you're uncomfortable, the forced enthusiasm. And here's the thing. They usually won't call you out. They just file it away. They know you're going through something even when you're pretending everything's perfect. They see through the facade because they're not caught up in it. You ever had someone who barely knows you ask, "Are you okay?" And you think, how did they know? That was a quiet person reading what everyone else missed. Third trait. They're always thinking several steps ahead. While everyone else is reacting to what's happening right now, quiet people are already anticipating what comes next. They're running scenarios in their head, preparing for possibilities, thinking through consequences before they speak or act. That's why quiet people rarely get caught off guard. They've already thought about what could go wrong. They've already considered how people might react. They've planned exit strategies before they even enter the room. It's not anxiety, it's strategy. It's chess while everyone else is playing checkers. So when drama happens and everyone's panicking, the quiet person is calm because they saw it coming 20 minutes ago and already decided how they'd handle it. They don't need to scramble because they're never actually surprised. Fourth trait. Their social energy is extremely selective. Quiet people don't hate people. They hate wasting energy on interactions that don't matter. Small talk drains them. Surface-level conversations feel pointless. Forced socializing is exhausting. But here's what people don't get. Put them with the right person, and they'll talk for hours. Give them a topic they care about, and suddenly they're animated. Create a space where they feel safe, and they're not quiet at all. It's not that they can't socialize. It's that they refuse to waste their energy on shallow connections. They'd rather have one deep conversation than 10 meaningless ones. So if you're the person a quiet person opens up to, that's not random. They chose you. They decided you're worth the energy. That's actually a huge compliment, even if it doesn't feel like it. Fifth trait. Silence doesn't make them uncomfortable. It makes everyone else uncomfortable. Most people can't handle silence. They fill it with noise, random comments, nervous laughter, pointless observations, anything to avoid the void. Quiet people, they're perfectly fine just existing. No pressure to perform. No need to fill every second with sound. They're comfortable in the quiet because they're comfortable with themselves. And here's the power move. When you're comfortable with silence, you control the conversation. Because the other person will talk just to fill the space. They'll reveal things they didn't mean to. They'll get nervous and over-explain. They'll show their hand. Quiet people have learned that sometimes saying nothing is the loudest move you can make, and the people who can't handle it, they expose themselves every time. Sixth trait. They have a testing phase, and you didn't even know you were being tested. Quiet people don't trust easily, not because they're paranoid, but because they've seen enough to know people aren't always what they seem. So, they test. They tell you something small and personal to see if it stays between you or if it gets spread around. They watch how you treat people who can't do anything for you, waiters, janitors, people you think don't matter. They see if you're consistent or if you change depending on who's in the room. And the whole time, you think you're just hanging out. You have no idea you're being evaluated. But they're collecting data, watching patterns, deciding if you're actually trustworthy or just good at pretending. If a quiet person fully trusts you, it's because you passed tests you didn't even know existed. And that trust, it's earned, not given, which is exactly why it means something. 7th trait. Everything gets processed internally before it comes out. When something happens, good, bad, confusing, quiet people don't immediately react. They don't call 5 friends to talk it through. They don't post about it. They sit with it. They think about it. They process. This makes them seem detached sometimes, like they don't care. But really, they care deeply. They're just not performing their emotions for an audience. They're actually feeling them, privately. So when a quiet person finally speaks on something, it's measured, it's thought through. It's not a knee-jerk reaction, it's a considered response. Which is why quiet people rarely say things they have to apologize for later. They think before they speak. Wild concept, right? But the downside, sometimes people think they're cold, unaffected, when really they're just not performing feelings they're still processing. Give them time. The response will come. It'll just be thoughtful instead of reactive. 8th trait. They let people underestimate them on purpose. Quiet people know that being underestimated is an advantage. When people assume you're passive, shy, or not paying attention, they get careless. They say things they shouldn't. They make assumptions. They drop their guard. And the quiet person? They're collecting all of it, learning, waiting. Then, when it matters, they make their move. One well-timed comment, one strategic action, and suddenly everyone realizes this person isn't who they thought. They're sharp, they're capable, they've been 10 steps ahead the whole time. The quiet person doesn't need to prove themselves constantly. They let their results speak. They let people underestimate them until the moment it actually matters. Then they show exactly who they are. It's a power move disguised as passivity, and by the time you realize it, it's already too late. 9th trait. They are excellent at reading people and terrible at faking interest in people they've already decided aren't worth their time. Quiet people can tell within minutes if someone is genuine or fake, if someone is authentic or fake, if someone is safe or exhausting. And once they've decided you're not it, they're polite, but they're gone. They won't argue with you. They won't confront you. They just quietly exit. They stop engaging. They give short answers. They become unavailable, not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. Because quiet people protect their peace aggressively. They know their energy is limited, and they're not wasting it on people that drain them. So if you notice a quiet person has gone distant, it's not random. They decided you're not worth the investment. And that decision, it's final. You don't get a second chance with a quiet person who's already decided you're not their people. They've seen enough. They're done. And 10th and final trait. They prefer to watch the show, not star in it. Quiet people aren't trying to be the main character. They're comfortable being in the background, observing, learning, watching how things play out. While everyone else is fighting for attention, competing for the spotlight, performing for validation, quiet people are just watching. And honestly, they're entertained by it all. The drama, the posturing, the desperation to be seen. They're not judging. They're just observing human behavior like it's a documentary. And they're learning more from watching than they ever would from participating. But here's the thing. Just because they're not fighting for the spotlight doesn't mean they're not powerful. Sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove it. Quiet people understand something most people don't. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You don't need to perform to have an impact. You just need to be strategic, patient, observant. And that's exactly what makes them so dangerous. So there you have it. 10 secret traits of quiet people that most people never notice. And if you're a quiet person watching this, you probably related to every single one. You're not shy, you're not boring, you're just selective with your energy, strategic with your words, and comfortable with who you are. And to everyone else, the next time you meet a quiet person, don't mistake their silence for weakness. Don't assume they're not paying attention, because I promise you, they're noticing everything. They're thinking 10 steps ahead, and they're deciding right now whether you're worth their time. Quiet people don't need to announce their power. They just have it, and that's exactly what makes them unforgettable. Drop a comment. Are you the quiet one, or do you know one? Let me know which trait hit hardest. And if this helped you feel seen or helped you understand the quiet people in your life, hit that subscribe button. I create content for people who think deeply and move strategically. See you in the next one.